Hello, this is Francisco Perez. Welcome to another educational lesson. So we're going to be getting into a short video today. This will not be a long video. Alright? This will not be a long video, but I'm going to show you a few things and see what we can get out of this. Alright, let's get into fair use.
Renewed credence to archaeological findings that suggest connections with the ancient Middle East. 1930, a very curious thing was found.
Now this is American temple that was excavated. Okay? Now this picture that you're seeing is of an American temple. Alright?
Found by the Tennessee Authority while building a dam.
They found an entire building buried within a Hopewell mound.
So in Tennessee, there's the Hopewell mounds, right? Within the Hopewell mounds, there was a whole temple. So we've been learning in history, like in Asia, they would destroy your temples, and if they couldn't destroy your temple, they would just cover it. So this mound was actually one temple that was covered up temple, right? Now it's being rediscovered. Okay.
Building, a rectangular building.
A rectangular building.
Wooden post.
Now look at this. Now straight from the get-go, they're gonna pervert you. What does that look like? Most of us wouldn't know. But if you look right here on King David's temple design, now look at the temple. Look at the temple. This is a recreation of what King David's temple. Look, King Solomon. Look at this temple, okay? Now you gotta realize they might be talking about religious stuff, but they're not telling you that this is a Hebrew temple, like King Solomon's and King David's. They automatically go, this is an Egyptian temple. They're always correlating everything to an Egyptian mind frame, when Egyptian is one of the newer cultures. Egyptian hieroglyphs is one of the newest type of hieroglyphs. So they're doing this for a reason. They're cutting you out of your inheritance. Just like how they didn't tell you you're an indigenous American, you're the indigenous Aboriginal. Because they don't want you to know that, well, yeah, it's true, you are an Aboriginal, and there's more proof the temples in here are from you guys. Yeah, you guys were given this land, the land of milk and honey. But no, we don't want to know. This is it, man. Now watch, I'm gonna let them play what they want us to say. Where is Jerusalem? Where would the third temple of God be built before some bullshit? See? Where did they say? They say, oh, the temple of Solomon or the temple of David is destroyed. We don't know. And what did they do? They recreated the temple in Brazil. They redid one in Brazil. Look. And they made them disproportionate. You see how it looks? Right? This is how it's supposed to look. This manner. And they made it disproportionate because they're against you and your way of life, your culture, your history, your inheritance. With every inch of their body, let's not give them their inheritance. Now look at this. It's in Brazil, and everybody thinks this is just a joke, but we have the real deal in Tennessee, and you've never heard about it. You think this footage is brand new? You think they discovered this in 2017?
On the outside, two huge stone pillars on the inside.
Now look at that. And we're going back to this. This is a King Solomon setup. Two huge pillars on the outside. Two huge pillars. And the only reason you are against this information is because, oh, this happened on the other side of the world. If you're an Israelite, or I don't even, because we never called ourselves Israelites. All right? So let's not even go there. Oh, if you're the people in the Bible, you're the Hebrew people, then that's saying that you're not from here, that you're from somewhere else. No, this is At's land, the land of Adam, that in the Jubilees was given to the Semitic Hebrew people, the copper-colored, full-bearded people who lived here and let other people move here. And then when a group of us came back, we was tasked with removing everyone that wasn't Afro. And then we end up not finishing the task. So that it was prophesied that they'll stay here, for they'll be by your sides, being thorns in your sides, and isn't all these people hiding who you are, your culture, your inheritance? Haven't they done things, and haven't they not stood up for you? Have all these things occurred? No matter what way it went down, all these things line up to what had actually happened. They said the land that is said had giants before that. And there's ancient giants here. They said that there's so many things that, like the butterflies that they talk about, is here. That's why they don't tell you there was elephants here, and all these the lions. They don't tell you that the lion was here. They said no, never have lions. So that's why it never happened here.
This was a very unusual building in East Tennessee. The archaeologists saw something, and I don't know what it was, but they stopped the dig and they brought in Egyptologists from London, England, to finish the dig. Upon finishing the dig, the Egyptologists from England called it an Egyptian temple in North America.
Like, you don't even know how bad this thing is, where everything they call is Egyptian. Yet you don't even realize that the so-called Egyptian people was riding around in four-wheeled chariots, carts, wagons, and they got two-wheeled military-style wagons, chariots from us. They used to use a generic type of bow. It was good, but it didn't have long range. We brought a laminated bow which had a further range and more velocity. But when we watch movies Egyptian, all these things are already there in the Egyptian movies. And they don't say, oh, the slaves gave them this. Oh, these sick people gave them this. No, they play it as it's an Egyptian thing. Look, the Egyptians came up with it. Everything is Egyptian. And then if you investigate our people and the Egyptian historical records, then you realize that all the historical evidence of us was destroyed. The so-called Egyptians destroyed all the paperwork, all the evidence. And then other cultures had writings of us. So in order to keep up the lies and the propaganda, they had to go back into their records and recreate the history. That's why they were able to be so biased in the historical data and leave out so much details and so much history, and they was able to change a lot because they reinvented your history in whatever lands they say you were in, because everything is set up for you to learn a certain way, even though the information the truthful information is telling you something different, which is why they go to libraries and destroy books. There's an actual department that job is to destroy books. So books can be good and bad. I've had the opportunity to read specific books, to see specific history, to live out this. I live in Hawaii, a very spiritual place where our whole history correlates with this history, and I've found out the perversions and the changes in our history, which is anybody can find, to the point where they even changed our alphabet to disassociate us with the American Aboriginals and the other Oceania Aboriginals. They destroyed our temples and pyramids, which I am rediscovering at the moment. They closed down our sepulchres with all our kings, and no one realizes what these things are. Today they say, oh, they don't know where Kamehameha's body is or the kings before him, because it is in these cave systems that are underneath Iolani Palace that extend out to extreme areas, and you wouldn't even believe how far these tunnel systems go. And they come out all over the island in caves, like many cave openings, ditches, just like similar to some of these openings that we're going to be watching in my next video. But you gotta realize, I live this. We're so spiritual. We don't understand because we're looking at it through the lens of an oppressor who's trying to covet it, who's trying to say he is that.
And they called it an Egyptian temple because it was constructed, or the manner of construction and the layout, the architectural design was very Middle Eastern in origin. In the Middle East, temples, whether they were in Mesopotamia, whether it was the Temple of Solomon in Israel or an Egyptian temple, they had a basic layout, a basic plan. And the temple found in Tennessee was very much like a Middle Eastern temple. The big question is, where did it come from? Why did it exist? Why is it there? Why is it so different than anything else found in North America, but so yet so similar to that which is found in the Middle East? I know where it went. I know what museum it's at. Hopefully there's still something there. I have one photograph. It's a very poor quality. It was published in a newspaper. If we limit our thinking to current anthropological theory, then there's no way to explain a Middle Eastern temple in Tennessee. But if we expand our view to allow world religions to inform our approach, including various 19th century American religions, then there may be some very good ways of explaining it.
How have scientific agendas and academic traditions been able to so completely silence religious ideas from scientific agendas and academic traditions, been able to so completely silence religious ideas? How have scientific agendas and academic traditions been able to so completely silence religious ideas? How have scientific agendas and academic traditions?
Okay, now realize this. These are the indigenous people that they seen when they came here. Hold up! See? You see this? These are the indigenous people that they seen. Alright? This is the indigenous people that they talk about in the Bible.
This odd couple's making it work thanks to this Samsung Flex Watch from Best Buy. It's two compartments.
You see when they grow out their hair. You see when they let their hair go, how it grows. You see the clothes. You see the tassels. See, all they doing is hiding the fact that they dress just like an indigenous American. They even had girdles. They had bonnets, which is the helmets that indigenous people wear, the chiefs and the priests. They had capes. Their name either means feathered people or winged people. You see how the tassels, just like the American indigenous people and the Mexicans, on the South Americans, how they wear it. See, if we grew our hair out and we wore the indigenous clothes, how we would look. You see us. And this is the Native American. So I'm just gonna read this and I'm out. So this is from the Colombina of Sevilla, the great library there, where it's impressive the writings they hold in that building. So I'm just gonna read this part. Among the earliest and most fascinating witnesses to the latter is a manuscript of 84 folios dating between September 13 of 1501 and March 23rd of 1502, and now preserved in the Biblioteca Colombina in Sevilla. It begins, "This is the beginning of the book or collections of authorities, sayings, opinions, and prophecies concerning the need to recover the holy city and Mount Zion, and the discovery and conversion of the islands of the Indies and of all peoples and nations, for Ferdinand and Isabella, our Spanish rulers." Peace.
With stone pillars on the inside. This was a very unusual building in East Tennessee. The archaeologists saw something in East Tennessee. In East Tennessee. In East Tennessee. In East Tennessee. The archaeologists